Well, we're here again to talk about some more antlers. I know you guys have asked to see them, and so I know a lot of you can't get here to see them, so I'd like to show you as many as I can. And who knows, within showing them to everybody, maybe I'll get an antler or two or be able to give one to somebody throughout the series. But again, it's an installment of Through the Eyes of a Shed Hunter, and this week we're going to talk about a buck that I called the Friendship Buck. I call it that because years ago when I was hunting in a particular area for sheds, a guy at work I know was hunting the same area, and we got to be friends over it, and we kind of formed a friendship, and it paid off because I found a set of sheds, a decent set of sheds. I was able to glass this buck up one side, the side that had the split eye guard, and they're both really nicely bladed and heavy. But anyway, I glassed them up across the canyon. I had Tammy's dog Cowboy with me, and I saw the one antler, and we went over there to get it. We had to go around because the draw was really steep at the bottom, and it was like a big rainstorm had washed a gully washer down through there and made it almost impassable. You had to slide into the bottom and then crawl up the other side, and there was just tons of bramble bushes in the bottom, and so it was just a nightmare to cross. So we took an old skid road around the canyon and worked our way over there to where I thought it was and started down to it, and there was this antler laying there. And so when I picked it up, I started looking at it, and I looked across the canyon and I thought, that's not the antler I saw. It can't be, because I couldn't even have seen this antler from where I was sitting because it through the trees there. And so I moved over on the ridge a little bit, and it's like, yeah, that's where I glassed this side. It has to be right here. So Cowboy, the dog, and I were all over that hillside looking for it, and I was just exasperated thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to go all the way back over there and glass it to see if I actually did pick this one up that maybe I thought it was this one, but I had actually glassed this one. So I went all the way back around and got over there and threw my binoculars up, and sure enough, there it was. And I thought, you know what, I can't go all the way back around there again and chance not finding it, so I'm going to go straight to it. Oh, that was a mistake. It was just a nightmare in the bottom, but we were able to crawl our way up the hillside, and we got it. And I told Cowboy, he was looking at me like, are you nuts? And I was like, if you would have found this thing the first time we were over here, we wouldn't have had to come back. So I kind of blamed the dog. But anyway, to get back on our story about the friendship, I had these set of antlers, and I talked about them with Brad, a friend of mine, Brad Chance, and he wanted to see them, and so I brought him to work with some other antlers that I had from there, some of the bigger ones, and he brought this antler in. Let me see if I can get him held right so you can see him. He brought me, whoops, no wonder it didn't look right. He brought me this antler, as you can see. It's just a mirror image of this one the next year. It had grown quite a bit and put on some mass, and he didn't have them in his hand very long, and he handed me this antler. He said, I know you hunt there a lot, and I can tell you put history together with deer, and he wanted me to have it. So I couldn't believe it, but you know, that's what we do, a lot of us, and I just totally appreciated it. And as time went on, we had a litter of puppies, and Tammy worked with Brad's wife at the doctor's office, and it was, I know he wanted a puppy, and so we decided to give him a puppy, and I know they wanted to pay us, but it's like, no, you know, and I knew, Tammy knew that his wife and stuff, they were needing something, they were needing a puppy, and so we gave him this puppy, and boy, what a dog he turned out to be. It ended up in a tragedy, and I'm not even going to elaborate on that, but Brad had some wonderful times with it, and the dog was like a vacuum cleaner. He could pick up horns, and he tore up the country picking up horns, and so he brought him up there one day, and we were shed hunting and together actually, and Tammy had picked up a side off this deer, and this is what I'm going to have to ask some of you guys that watch these videos to look at it, and you tell me. I honestly, I don't know for sure, but if it ain't the same deer 4 or 5 years later, totally regressed, then it's got to be the same gene pool anyway. So, but anyway, I'll show you those here in a minute. But we were hunting together anyway, and Tammy had found this side, and Brad's dog found the other side and brought it to him. And so 2 out of the possible 5 horns off this deer were given to me by Brad. So I can't express my thankfulness enough to them, and it's been a pleasure shed hunting and talking about sheds with them over the years. His boys has come over, one of them for sure, and we looked at horns, and it's just been always been fun for me to do that, and so I've enjoyed the heck out of it. So, in fact, he knows we hunt that area quite a bit, so he usually asks me if I've been in there yet when the season rolls around, and if I tell him no, I ask him if he has. He usually tells me, no, I'm waiting for you guys to hit it, first, because I know you hunt in there a lot, and I'll just wait. And if he found something I had, he would give it to me anyway. I know that from my heart, so it's pretty interesting. But anyway, Tammy picked up, it's unfortunate, but it was chewed. Tammy picked up this side off the deer, and then Brad's dog picked up this side. His side isn't chewed, but anyway, I just can't hardly help it but think that this is the same deer regressed. But I mean, you'd have to hold the antlers for sure. Bases are real similar. It's hard to tell. Horns they have a lot of the same features. This one is regressed. I mean, it's trying to lose its point. The beams are kind of the same. The bases are really similar. This one might be just a fraction smaller. So I don't know if as they get older, if the base could actually regress just a little bit. I mean, not a lot, maybe just a tiny bit, but it sure has a lot of the same features. The other horn is very similar. He didn't even try to grow his G4 out here, but the eye guard, this one was really bladed like it would have split, and then this one actually did split. But even the bases, they kind of both grew this little ding at the bottom. I mean, I would really like to know what you guys think. I know I've heard that you can drill them and send them in and have them DNA tested, but I'm not going to go through that money. I'll just let people guess and give me their opinion, and for all intents and purposes, I'll call it the same deer. But it would have been the single side that Brad picked up would have been in 2008, and then I think when we picked up these, it was 2013. It could have been 2012, but the set of horns, so it would have been 4 years. So I don't know what the age of this deer would have been. I'm going to say 3 or 4, and so put another 5 years. The deer would have been 8 or 9 years old easily to be here, and with the regression I could see that. And in the country up there, it is so thick with rose hips and bramble bushes that, I mean, you couldn't, it's like trying to run rabbits out of a brush patch. The deer can hide in there so well, so the chances of them getting shot are slim, and so. But anyway, that's the story of the friendship buck. They're the best as I can recall it. I know it's been a real thrill hunting in there and being able to hunt with Brad and work and watch the dogs working one thing and another. But anyway, just thought you guys would like to see them, and if anybody has a comment, I'd like to hear it, because I certainly don't know. But that being said, from the time that the last horn was picked up to the last horn that Brad picked up and gave me, which is a dandy, there's got to be some horns out there yet that people have, I'm sure. I can't imagine them selling too many like this, but it's hard to say. But anyway, I'd also like to give a shout out to my neighbors over here in Oregon. This Addicted to Antlers, obviously I am. I saw this t-shirt, made a comment, and next thing I knew, it's in the mail. Tammy ordered it for me. She kind of does that for me quite a bit, but she takes awful good care of me anyway. So anyway, just another installment of Through the Eyes of a Shed Hunter, the Friendship Buck.